Happy Wednesday to all my people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 99, Season 3, Episode 31 of Thoughts and Hunches, Making Money in Bunches and Sucker Punches. It's your boy Stony back for the 99th time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow hoodlums, lowlifes, cheats, scumbags, hustlers, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, foul-mouthed raging alcoholics with abusive language, fienders, degenerates. If you're new to the show, hey, you probably fit into one or more of those categories, so welcome aboard to the rest of your fellow hoodlums, right? Make sure to hit the subscribe button right down here in the lower right-hand corner. So this way you can get notified every time I put out a new video. Just spread the word. It's very easy. Just tell all the other scumbags to go to YouTube and enter Stoney's Winners in the search bar. That's not S-T-O-N-E-Y. It's S-T-O-N-I-E. Just like it says in the bottom left down here right next to my picture. That'll take you directly to my page. Now, before we get to the picks, I have some thoughts and some programming notes. Let me start with a couple of college rock coaching hires this week. Ed Cooley to Georgetown, Rick Pitino to St. John's, and Tobin Anderson to Iona. Ed Cooley to Georgetown is a great, if not surprising, hire. It makes sense for both sides, as Georgetown, let's face it, hasn't been the same since Big John Thompson retired, and had become irrelevant in the last 10 years, even with Patrick Ewing as their coach for the past few years. Cooley is a phenomenal coach that started at Fairfield in the Metro Atlantic Athletic back in 06, and he led the Stags to one NCAA tournament trip in his 5 seasons there, and that led him to getting his dream job at his hometown college, Providence, in 2011. He's been there for 12 years, led the Friars to 7 berths in the Big Show, and got them to the Sweet 16 just last year. Now he's leaving his dream job to take the job at Georgetown for a lot more money and presumably a better shot at getting top recruits in the nation's capital. Rick Pitino, who coincidentally started at Providence, led them to the Final Four back in 1987, went to Kentucky, won a national championship in 96 before going to the NBA, flirting with the Knicks, flirting with the Celtics, and then Louisville, coming back to the NCAA, going to Louisville, winning a national championship there in 2013, a quick trip to Greece where he coached, and then the last few seasons at Iona. We all know his issues. Sex scandals that were covered up, getting fired, having his 2013 title vacated, recruiting violations, all kinds of issues, right? They say he's as crooked as a dog's hind leg, right? And so what, right? That's what I say, right? The thing is, he's still the only coach to take 3 different schools to the Final Four, and he's won 2 national championships. Now he's coaching in New York City at St. John's. That'll certainly give him the opportunity to recruit some special players. And finally, Tobin Anderson, the former head coach of Fairleigh Dickinson, who just knocked out top-seeded Purdue in the tournament, is now headed to Iona to replace Pitino. That's a good hire for Iona, and it's a good move for Anderson, if anyone can understand him. I got to say, I heard him do a lot of talking this last week, and I've never heard anyone in the world speak faster than this guy that's not digitally sped up. He sounds like a sped-up commercial. But good luck, Tobin. As for the tournament itself, hang on. Was there a foul called? Yeah, that was a bullshit. Well, that was a good call, I guess. Kind of, sort of. Sorry, I'm watching this game and it's really pissing me off. Looks like UAB is going to knock out Vanderbilt in the quarterfinals of the NIT here. The tournament, it just doesn't get any better, right? While we didn't really have any buzzer beaters, we did have a few games decided in the final seconds and plenty of games that the point spread was decided at the buzzer and in the final seconds. For every one you win, for every bad beat, there's also a good beat where you got lucky. Those games kind of balance themselves out because I went 1-1 on those 2 specific crazy games, right? Well, my contention that the NCAA tournament is the greatest sporting event in the world still rings true. The tournament itself is outstanding, but those first 4 days last weekend from Thursday through Sunday are just riveting theater. And you can't look away once you start watching. I mean, God bless YouTube TV. If you don't have YouTube TV, then you got problems. If you're still watching cable, right, get YouTube TV. It's half the price, right? Well, YouTube TV launched multi-view last week, right? That now allows me to watch up to 4 games at once. And when there were 4 games going on at once, believe me, I had them in all 4 squares on the big screen. And damn it if it wasn't a beautiful thing. When you're a fiend for action and you've sprinkled some glimmer on every game, it can't be beaten. You all know me as a big college football fan as well. But here's the main difference between college football and college rock. In this tournament, it's literally anybody's game. Sure, you have your blue bloods over the last 40 years. Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina, Michigan State. But how often do they all really win it all? Sure, Villanova won a couple titles the last 6 years, and Gonzaga has become a blue blood, and UCLA has restored their blue blood status. While Gonzaga, UCLA, and Michigan State are all still alive, Alabama and Houston are the huge favorites right now to finish it off in 2 weeks. Nope, hold on, there's a turnover. We got a minute left. I'm going to come back in a second here. Vandy, it's a must-score possession for 3. Back iron. Okay, offensive glass. There's another 3. Bam! 2-point ball game. 51 seconds left. They were just down 7. Vandy doing it. Jerry Stackhouse has done a phenomenal job in getting Vanderbilt back to some sort of prominence. Yeah, it's the NIT, but alley-oop and alley-oop dunk. That was impressive for UAB. UAB up by 4 with 45 seconds left. Wow. It's going to hit the under, though, because I had the under, unless it goes to overtime. So, all right. Now, where was I? Okay, Houston and Alabama, right? Those are the 2 favorites, right? And like I said in my last video, any one of 11 teams can win it. But Houston and Alabama right now, those are the favorites. But anybody can win it, right? Here we are in the heart of March. 5 months away from the start of college football, and I can already tell you that out of Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, and Ohio State, 3 of those teams will probably be in the college football playoff. Yeah, think about it. Maybe Clemson, maybe USC if Caleb Williams gets hot. Who knows? But, I mean, college football has become very predictable, right? While college rock may have blue bloods at the top of the polls, but the tournament is still must-see TV. So basically, with only 2.5 weeks remaining in the season, my advice to you is to enjoy the hell out of it before we settle into spring and summer. In the meantime, here are the numbers for the crazy week that was. Last week, 79 wins, 55 losses, 1 push. Told you I was trying for 80 wins. 85 was the goal. But I'll take it. 58.95%. Certainly nothing to sneeze at. NCAA postseason. 186 wins, 131 losses, 2 pushes. 58.67%, right? But that's 4 points lower than the regular season where I hit at 62%. So think of it in those terms. Overall for the season, 825 wins, 562 losses, 14 pushes. That's good for 59.48%. You're welcome. Yeah. That's now 17 consecutive winning weeks, which is a record for me. I never done that before. I never hit over 60% until last year, right? But even during last year's hot streak, I didn't win 17 consecutive weeks. Once again, I got to remind you that every one of these picks are 100% free from me to you, and we've done some serious bankroll building this season in giving you over 1,300 picks. So now it's time to continue on my push to 18 straight winning weeks. And while it looks like my goal of getting over 60% overall on the season isn't going to happen, I have given you some CBI picks and NIT picks this week on Monday, Tuesday, and the game going right now. I went 5-3 on Monday, 7-1 yesterday, 1-1 so far today. One game going now, one game going later. Damn it. I'm already off to a hot start, right? And trying to get to that 18th straight winning week. But let's get to the NCAA tournament. Let's get to the Sweet 16. And let's get it going tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, East Region, at the world's most famous arena, better known as Madison Square Garden in New York City. 7th-seeded Michigan State is a short 2-point favorite over 3rd-seeded Kansas State, with the total set at 137.5. Michigan State comes to MSG after taking out USC in round 1 and hanging one on 2nd-seeded Marquette in the round of 32 by playing Tom Izzo basketball. Timely shooting and tough defense that controls the glass. Damn it, give me 1 second. There we go. All right, that's a lot better. Yeah, Sparty has the big bodies that contribute on the offensive glass and in the paint, but the majority of their scoring comes from stud point guard Tyson Walker, whose handles are just ridiculous. You haven't seen this guy play, you got to watch him play. He reminds me of a shifty, shady Rajon Rondo, only with the offensive game that Rondo didn't have when he was Walker's age. Walker gets help from A.J. Hoggard and Joey Hauser. These guys can shoot the lights out. K-State arrives in New York City following 2 double-digit wins over Montana State and Kentucky. Keontae Johnson. He's one of the best stories in the tournament. He was at Florida. He had a heart condition, and his future was in doubt. They say, we don't know if this guy's going to live, let alone play basketball ever again, right? All of a sudden, he transfers. He goes to Manhattan, the Little Apple, and he's flourished. Now he finds himself playing in the Big Apple in the Sweet 16, leading the way for the Wildcats, but he's got a balanced attack that leaves defenders not sure who they can key on. Yes, Tom Izzo in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight combined in his career is 17-6. So this is clearly his time of year. As good as Izzo and Sparty are, I still like the Wildcats here in what should be a physical wrestling match. Give me K-State, +2 and under 137.5. 124, 7 seconds left. Need that total. Interesting. Quick note, for all you haters that try to talk shit about me and all my underplays, all Stoney does, he takes the dogs and he takes the unders. May I remind you that on Friday alone last week, the under was 14-2. 14-2. Now, I didn't take all unders, right? But the under went 14-2. And overall, since the first 4 games, the under's 35-17. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. There's your ball game. Hit the under. Okay, there we go. I missed on Vandy, but I hit the under. UAB came up to Nashville. Now this dude's rather aggressively talking shit to the fans. Stackhouse, I love Jerry Stackhouse. Class act. All right, now 7:15 p.m. West Region, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 4th-seeded Connecticut's a 3.5-point chalk over 8-seed Arkansas, and the total's listed at 140.5. Iona and St. Mary's are the 2 victims of UConn and their run to Las Vegas, while the guard play of Tristan Newton and Jordan Hawkins have shot the lights out. And when they don't, big man Adama Sanogo has absolutely dominated inside. Arkansas has taken out Illinois and top seed Kansas behind one of the toughest defenses around and the relentless pursuit of the offensive glass. This time of year, we also get great coaching matchups, and this one's no exception. UConn's Dan Hurley versus Eric Musselman of Arkansas is as good as it gets. I'm a big fan of Hurley's and what he's done with the Huskies this year, but I have to take the Hogs here, plus the points, and in such a tough matchup, guess what? Another under. 9 p.m. East Region, Madison Square Garden. We got 4-seed Tennessee at 5.5-point favorite over 9th-seeded Florida Atlantic, and the total 129.5. Tennessee got here by squeaking by Louisiana in round 1 and physically assaulting Duke in the second round, all without point guard Zakai Ziegler. Off guard Santiago Vescovi is still the main scorer for the Vols, and he's silky smooth, that left-handed stroke from deep. Josiah Jordan-James, he's done a great job filling in for Ziegler at the point, but the interior of Rick Barnes' squad has been dominant, led by Olivier Kamwa. He had 27 points and physically beat up Duke. I mean, it was it was men playing against boys, and it was a beautiful thing to see, especially if you don't like Duke, right? But, Memphis, right, on the other hand, right, they got beaten. They were my sleeper to make it to the Final 8. They got knocked out by Florida Atlantic, right? Florida Atlantic got a lot of breaks in round 1, knocked out Memphis, and then they took out the Cinderella, FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson, in round 2. The Owls are 33-3, and you don't win 33 games nowadays without being loaded. Conference USA champs are paced by leading scorer John L. Davis and big man Vladislav Golden. Regency bias is a big thing this time of year, and that's why everyone likes UT here. But I'm going to make it 3 straight dogs and ride with Florida Atlantic and take the over in this one, because as good as UT's defense is, both teams can score and will. The finale tomorrow night is in the West Region at America's Playground in Las Vegas. 9:45 p.m., and it has the makings of a great one. Second-seeded UCLA is a 1.5-point favorite over number 3 Gonzaga, with the total set at 145. The Bruins blasted NC Asheville in round 1 and survived a very game Northwestern squad in the second round, while Gonzaga took out Grand Canyon in round 1 and came from behind to knock off TCU on Sunday night. We all remember their famous Final Four matchup 2 years ago that ended on Jalen Suggs' half-court buzzer beater. And aside from the host of players on both schools' rosters that were in that game, Gonzaga's Mark Few versus UCLA's Mick Cronin is the best matchup of coaches this weekend. UCLA is led by Jaime Jaquez, All-American, and Tiger Campbell. But they have 4 freshmen that can not only score, but they play valuable minutes, especially off-guard Amari Bailey. He's picked up the pace since UCLA lost all-world defender Jalen Clark a few weeks ago. The Zags are led by All-American, All-Everything Drew Timme. He leads the Bulldogs in scoring, rebounding, and assists. But he has some nice complementary pieces in 3 guards, Julian Strother, Rossier Bolton, and Malachi Smith. This is a classic matchup of 2 blue bloods that have contrasting styles. Gonzaga wants the game to be played in the 80s. UCLA wants it in the 60s. The Bruins will exact revenge because the X factor in this game is UCLA's All-American Jaime Jaquez. Gonzaga has nobody that can guard him, and he can basically score every time up the court he wants, if he wants, and Cronin can slow the pace down, run the offense through him in the low post. And Timme, who always seems to have big games in big games, hasn't seen the athleticism that UCLA is going to throw at him, because they have 3 6'10" and taller defenders. That's 15 fouls they can use on him. So I like UCLA. Give me the Bruins, and I'll take the under. Now let's move on to Friday's 4 games, and let's start in the South region at 6:30 p.m., right up the road, a couple hours at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. Top-seeded Alabama is a 7.5-point favorite over 5th-seeded San Diego State. While Bama's cruised so far with a couple of blowout wins over Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Maryland, San Diego State has showed the nation that the Mountain West can compete on the big stage with wins over College of Charleston and Furman. Both schools do it defensively, and while SDSU has a balanced offensive attack led by senior guard Matt Bradley, the Tide is led by future top 5 pick, and probably top pick overall, and All-American Brandon Miller. I'm in a tough spot here as I've rolled with the Aztecs through 2 rounds and cashed twice. I keep saying to myself that while the Tide will advance, they won't cover. This time, though, I can't take that chance. Bama's on another level right now, and as good as this tournament has been with all the upsets and surprises, and it'll be even a better tournament if San Diego State can knock off Alabama, it appears as though, like I said earlier, the 2 betting favorites at the start of the tournament, Alabama and Houston, appear to be on a collision course. So until Bama gets taken out, I have to roll with the Tide. No pun intended. Give me Bama. Give me the under. Midwest region, 7:15 p.m. at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Top-seeded Houston is a 7-point favorite over number 5 Miami, and the total set at 138. Top seed H-Town beat up Northern Kentucky in round 1, and though trailing by 10 at halftime in round 2, wound up blowing out Auburn in the second round. The Cougars keep making deep runs in March every year, and everything offensively revolves around All-American guard Marcus Sasser and a relentless crew that crashes the offensive glass. Miami, on the other hand, took out Drake and Indiana in their first 2 games and have done it differently twice. Against Drake, Miami couldn't get their offense in gear and struggled to get by the Bulldogs before their offense erupted in their blowout of Indiana. Isaiah Wong leads arguably the best backcourt in the nation, along with sidekick Jordan Miller and 3-guard Nigel Pack. Another great coaching matchup here, Kelvin Sampson, who's been the groomsman many years, but never the groom over his years with Oklahoma and Houston, against Jim Larrañaga, who led St. George Mason to a Final Four and led Miami to the Elite 8 last season, which is the furthest the Canes have ever advanced. Both schools can get out and score and like to force tempo, but this game's going to be decided by Miami's bigs and whether or not they can keep Houston off the boards. I like Houston a lot, but can I really give 7 points to a Jim Larrañaga coach team? The answer is no. Give me Miami and the over. 9 p.m., South Region, Louisville. 6-seeded Creighton is a Big Ten point favorite over 15-seed Princeton, and the total set at 139. Creighton's one of 3 Big East schools still alive after taking out North Carolina State and Baylor in easy fashion both times, while this year's Cinderella, Princeton, shocked the world twice with wins over 2nd-seeded Arizona and 7th-seeded Missouri. Head coach Greg McDermott has taken Creighton to many NCAA tournaments and had what I thought was the best team in the Big East a month ago. But the Blue Jays struggled down the stretch, right? But they finally found their footing right here just at the start of the tournament, and they seem to have things going again. The 3-headed monster of Ryan Kalkbrenner, Ryan Nembhard, and Baylor Schellerman are the heart and soul of one of the best scoring teams in the nation. Princeton, let's just get this out of the way, is nothing like the old Princeton teams in the day of Pete Carell. Mitch Henderson, their current head coach, played for Pete Carell. He has some serious bigs and athleticism on this squad, right? It's kind of frightening, right? And that's the reason why the Tigers are the 10th best rebounding team in the nation, right? Their mixed-matched offensive output comes from 4 starters that all score in double figures, led by forward Tosin Ebomwan. This guy, wow, he can fill it up too. Neither team's very deep as they can only run out about 7 or 8 players. I think Creighton advances, but I like Princeton here, and all those points, give me all 10 of them, to go along with the over here. And the finale on Friday night, the Degenerate Special, if you may, is in the Midwest region, 9:45 p.m., Kansas City, and it's second-seeded Texas as a 4.5-point favorite over third-seed Xavier at a 149 total. Texas got to KC with a blowout of Colgate in round one and a win over a tough and pesky Penn State squad in round two, while Xavier has W's over Kennesaw State and Pittsburgh on their resume. Texas is a popular pick by many to not only reach the Final Four, but to do some damage once they get there. And despite the unceremonious firing of head coach Chris Beard mid-season, Rodney Terry took over and has righted the ship, and the Longhorns are rolling again. The dynamic backcourt of Marcus Carr and Serge Jabari Rice sets the tone for the big boys like Brock Cunningham and Dylan Disu. Speaking of unceremoniously firing, Arizona did it to Sean Miller 2 years ago, right? And after a year off, Miller resurfaced for his second stint at Cincinnati, at Xavier in Cincinnati. And here they are in the Sweet 16 again. With the Musketeers, it's all about the offense. It's balanced. 3 players averaging at least 15 points per game, led by Sully Boom. All-name team, Sully Boom, by the way. And Sir Jabari Rice is also on the all-name team. They're 6th in the nation in scoring, 6th in field goal percentage, 5th in three-point percentage. Fireworks here are imminent. They're going to happen. Texas can slow it down or just roll it out there and run and gun. They don't care as long as they win, and that's what they've been doing, and they will do it again here. I like Xavier a lot, but I have to take the Horns here and the under. So that's it. That's all you get. 8 plays with totals. Gives us 16 headed into the Elite Eight on Saturday and Sunday. We're already off to a hot start this week and what I hope is going to be 18 straight winning weeks. Remember, next video might come out very late on Friday, but probably very early Saturday morning. So keep your eye out for that to prepare you for the Elite Eight. Now remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.